Okay, so we're here with Marvin Johnson, the midfielder of Sheffield Wednesday. Firstly, Marvin, thank you very much for your time. To kick things off, I just wanted you to tell us a bit about your background. Born and raised in the Midlands, correct?
Yes, that's right, yeah, Birmingham.
In Birmingham. And let's talk about a bit your Jamaican heritage. Is it your mum's side or your dad's side?
It's my dad's side, obviously. I've got quite a big family, but the majority of it is obviously on my dad's side, obviously, in terms of obviously uncles and stuff like that. I think with my granddad as well, obviously, that he's not around no more, but he was full Jamaican, you know. I barely understood him at times when I was younger, yeah, it's mainly on my dad's side. Obviously, when we have the family get-togethers and you know, the parties and stuff, you can see the heritage come right through there.
Okay, and in terms of you growing up in the Midlands, would you say you grew up with a bit of a Jamaican culture, or like a mix with English and Jamaican in a sense?
I'd say probably a little bit of a mix. Because like I say, I was living with my mum and my dad, but I only really kind of got that heritage when obviously I was over at my granddad's or with that side of the family at parties and things where obviously it was pure 100% Jamaican, you know. So it was mainly then really, which obviously was growing up obviously not knowing it at the time was obviously interesting and obviously eye-opening as well.
For you personally, that journey that you've had, I'm just curious to know, have you ever been on the island on holiday or anything like that?
I've been once with my partner. We went for 2 weeks with a friend and his partner. Also, we did obviously the usual excursions and stuff like that. But other than that, no, I've not been in terms of going around much more of it.
Okay, and in terms of being here at Sheffield Wednesday, how do you find life in Yorkshire compared to being in the Midlands?
Well, to be fair, I live in Derbyshire now, so it's a bit in between both. So it's not too bad. I'm not in Sheffield much. Like I said, I'm just in and out daily, obviously, to train and games. Yeah.
And how do you find life with the gaffer, Darren Moore, a person that has experienced coaching the Prem, the Championship, and of course here with Sheffield now?
Yeah, obviously you can see he's a top coach and things. Obviously he's, like I say, he's learned as well. But to be here and obviously go through that process with him and obviously learn a lot of things from him as well.
And for you, in terms of how Sheffield Wednesday are doing this season in particular, how would you say the team has been progressing?
I think although obviously we've had quite a good start, I would say we've still dropped quite a few points. Obviously we could all admit that, but I think we all know obviously how good of a squad we've got, and obviously the game plans that we go in each week with. Obviously we go to win, which obviously we all believe we should. But to that aspect, I think we can only get better, and I think we're still waiting to hit that good run that we hit around Christmas last season. Which really put us on the path, and I think once we get that, we'll be okay.
And just a little bit about Jamaica. Have you had a chance to perhaps watch the games online or on telly, any of the national team games growing up or recently?
I watched a couple of I think it was the qualifier games. Obviously I was with Ravel obviously at Middlesbrough, and obviously I know Marvin was playing as well. So I caught up with a couple of the games from that. That's about it.
Okay, and in terms of the gaffer here, have you had conversations about Jamaica or not really, per se?
Never really. No, you can kind of tell when he's a bit angry because the patois side of him comes out. But in terms of that, no, I've not really had that conversation. No.
For you, of course, growing up in the Midlands, of course, it has a mixture of that Caribbean culture and Asian culture. So, what would you say was your favourite Jamaican dish growing up?
I'm not too sure. My granddad was a fan of jerk chicken. But I'm not a fan of chicken on the bone, so I normally have the curry chicken, and dumplings definitely. I think there's a few Caribbean shops in Sheffield, but obviously, like I say, it will never be the same or the authentic that you're going to get from family.
Yeah, and the experience you spoke about at Sheffield, what would it mean for you to one day wear the black, green, and gold of Jamaica?
I don't really think I could explain what it would feel like, to be honest with you, but I could only obviously imagine what go through players' heads when obviously they're representing the country. It's all away from club football. It's a lot bigger, whether it's a friendly or a qualified game. The moments of it are a lot bigger than what you get on a normal Saturday in club football.
Yeah, and I just wanted to have a chat about, you know, the other lads that you have in your squad. It's a good mix of youth and experience right now. You know, as we spoke earlier a bit about Jaden Brown, and you know, yeah, Baz, you know, the experience that he's had as well, playing all the years. You know, your thoughts about a bit about Jaden Brown, as we know, who has a bit of Jamaican heritage as well, just like yourself.
Yeah, you can see, you know, he's not been fortunate with much game time at the minute, but you can see every single day in training he's hungry to play, he's got the desire to play. The games he has played, he showed it down to a T. You know, he wants to progress, he wants to play, he wants to work hard, and he wants to give his all in the game.
Yeah, and also we spoke a bit about Paul Hall. Did he have a conversation with you in the past at all about Jamaica?
Yeah, I spoke to him in the summer. He said he had a couple of games coming up, but we had the playoffs, so our holidays were cut short, and I think I was away at the time, so he did ask me to go and play the 2 games. I think they were in Spain. Obviously, I couldn't do that, and then but I know him from before anyway. I've worked with him, and obviously I know he's a good guy.
Yeah, and you know, we spoke briefly as well about, you know, the situation regarding a Jamaican passport and stuff like that, but I'm sure when the opportunity comes, you know, you'll ensure to make that a priority for you to sort out a Jamaican passport in due time.
Most definitely, yeah.
And for you, you know, in terms of you had training today, and you know the lads are looking sharp, you know, looking ahead to the next game on Wednesday, and of course another big test on the weekend against Burton. You know, how do you say preparations has been going?
Yeah, I think we just have to take it one game at a time. You know, I think everyone on the outside looking on these next 2 games should automatically think we should get 6 points, but we know obviously football doesn't work like that. You know, so we just always try and prepare each day the best we can. Obviously, have a look at the opposition and see how we can hurt them. And like I said, with the tools and quality we've got in the squad, we're capable of doing that.
And finally, just so persons on the island can get to know you a little bit better, what type of midfielder would you say that you're? And you're predominantly left-footed, is that correct?
Yeah, and I predominantly play on the left-hand side. You know, I bring pace, you know, and obviously I like to think I've got a half-decent left foot, and I can create chances and bring excitement to fans in the game, and obviously give everything I can for the team also.